Yeah, that's another half of the trafficking situation that I think takes away that whole voluntary nature that people believe is there. I mean, these young people and young adults in many cases are locked into a room and forced to take drugs, whether it be by intravenous or by oral, and end up
Well, you're
addicted.
drinking or I give it to you.
Right.
Your choice.
Either way, you take
Yeah.
it and you end
You
up
have
with
options, huh?
So from that perspective, too, we're not talking about just sex trafficking. I mean, people think that that person that's cleaning that neighbor's house is doing it voluntarily, but they may well be doing it under the thumb of another person and paying a portion of their income. Is that not true?
It is true. You're talking about labor now, labor slavery. Well, we have the case here in Irvine of this young Egyptian girl that was brought, to the States to help this family, and a neighbor saw her that she would once a day go outside to take the trash out. So that's how they spot her, and they called the authorities, and they came and they saw that she was living in the garage and she didn't go to school, and they gave her the leftovers to eat. So that was one of the cases of a very, very common case of slavery. I have another one of this lady that and this is somewhere in Los Angeles, and she was taken to this house so she could help, and she actually slept 3 hours a day and would have to wake up at 5 in the morning, and until she went to sleep she couldn't sit down. She had to be standing up all day long, and she was in pajamas. She wasn't allowed to be dressed, so she wouldn't leave the house, and she ate once a day at night, and she ate the leftovers of the children, and she was not allowed to talk to the gardener or to other people around. Total slave.
Yeah, and so when you say slavery, you mean slavery.
I mean it. I mean it.
That's what
We are not
missing,
playing with words.
Yeah, that's the point.
We're
People
not
are missing that.
Yeah, I think that we have more slaves nowadays. According to the United Nations, we have about 27 million people in slavery throughout the world, right? More slavery now than before the slavery was abolished. Isn't that incredible?
It's amazing. Let me ask you a little bit about the difference between and the association with street prostitution and still the human sex trafficking. As I understand it, in this city of Las Vegas, a very large proportion of the prostituted women are actually young teenagers now, and that it's going younger and younger every year. How do we stop that with I mean, we don't seem to be willing to charge the Johns with the crimes that they should be. Or
I'm very willing.
Yeah, as a society, though, how do we convince people these girls are not there because it's fun? I mean, all you have to do is look at your own daughter or your own granddaughter or niece or sister and say, would that individual choose to have any kind of relations with a 55-year-old overweight, unclean? I mean, these are not things that people choose to do. But how do we convince people that this isn't just a troubled teen making a choice? I mean, I'm really finding that's my most difficult. How do we convince other people that these are not choices? This is not a,
Well, some people that do not want to see, they will not see what they don't want to see. There is nothing worse than someone that is blind by choice. So whatever you want to say, unfortunately, if this person doesn't want to see it, won't see it.
Yeah, I suppose there's a lot of truth to that. As the economy has become more and more difficult, we've also seen statistically an increase in the number of throwaways and children who are basically being abandoned by their families. Do you have any idea what the real numbers are? I haven't been able to get anybody to tell me what I ask, but they don't answer. So
these are my numbers.
Okay.
About 450,000 children leave home per year in the United States.
Okay.
They are runaways. And from those, 1 out of 3 are asked to go into prostitution. They need to pay their homes, they need to pay their expenses, and they are invited very promptly to go into drugs. So now they have a new expense of drugs, so they go into that.
So
But those are the extremes. Let's see this other scenario. Do you know that here in Santa Ana, if you go to some events in Santa Ana, you will see teenagers, boys and girls, where the boys are selling the girls. You see the car stopping by, the girl goes inside, a couple of hours later she comes back.
So we're talking about the so-called boyfriend,
yes,
selling their own girlfriend.
And this is the dynamics. These boys are invited into drugs. Try it, try it. They like it, they continue doing it, they have to buy it now. How do they get the money? Hey, if you really love me, honey, do me a favor. They sell the girlfriends.
Wow.
And this is happening now.
Right. So how do we help people identify that problem? Because that's part of the issue is you may be looking right at it and not see it. So what are the signs that someone could look for? And I know this happens even with girls that are still living at home. So how do you tell our society, what is the signs that we can give people that they can look for?
Well, when you see, for example, a business or an apartment that there are men coming in and out, right? Or when you see that at home that your daughter is behaving, her behavior became very sexualized, for example. Or, you know, as parents we do know where our children, sometimes we're trying to avoid not to know, but unfortunately, or fortunately, we do know what is happening. So it's very hard for those parents, you know, to deal with this issue, but there is a phone number where they can call, and they go and do the investigations, and they go and help people that are going through something like this.
And so do you want to give us that number now?
Of course. Now. The phone number is 888-3737-888.
Okay.
Easy. 888-3737-888.
And what is that number for those that...
That's a national number.
Okay.
So anyone that has any suspicion of human trafficking, being labor or sexual slavery, they can call this number, and someone that is trained will go and investigate. And I have to say it's very important not to take it into your own hands, investigations, because we are dealing here with traffickers, with mafias, with rings that are very, very dangerous. So nobody should be taking this into their own hands. That's the number to call, and they will do it. They will know how to do it. So it's very, very important to do that.